Hello everyone, I am Renu God, Assistant Professor, English, Government College Dausa. I have earlier sent you syllabus of BA Part 2nd English prescribed by Rajasthan University. In paper first, you have poetry and drama. So before we start reading poetry, it is very essential to go through literary devices. So today, I'll let you know some important figure of speech that are frequently used in poems. So we will learn some important literary devices in this video. Literary devices are figure of speech and that help an author create meaning through language and words. It's a figurative language, a language that is not meant to be taken literally. It helps to construct the author's meaning. These devices are found in all types of writing, whether it is fiction, non-fiction or poetry. So first of all, we will go through imagery. Imagery refers to descriptive language that evokes sensory experience. It's an author's use of vivid and descriptive language to add depth to their work. Sensory imagery appeals to human senses to deepen the reader's understanding of the work. Powerful forms of imagery engage all the parts, or we can say all of the senses. Imagery can be visual, it can be auditory, they can appeal to taste, they can convey a scent, they can arouse the sense of touch. So, next literary device is simile. Simile compares two different things by using the words like, as, or then. A comparison of the two things of the same kind is not simile. So a simile is an explicit comparison between two unlike things through the use of connecting words, or we say contrasting words, usually like or as. It shows similarities between two different things. For examples, fight like a lion, as proud as a peacock, slower than a turtle, her smile was as cold as ice. So in these examples, you see that the two things that are being compared, they are not of same kind. When we say her smile was as cold as ice, so smile is totally different with ice. So when the two things that are totally different in kind are compared, we here have simile. Next figure of speech that we will read is metaphor. Metaphor is a comparison between two things as if they were one. It's an implied simile. So it is a rhetorical device that compares two subjects without the use of the words like or as. For example, the camel is the ship of desert. Life is a dream. So in the first example you see that we have not used the word like or as. So it's an indirect comparison or it's an implied simile. Camel is compared as the ship of desert and life is compared as a dream. So when the comparison is implied or it is not stated directly, we have metaphor. Next figure of speech is personification. Personification attributes human characteristics to inanimate objects or to animals. It gives writing a greater sensory appeal. In this, non-living things or abstract ideas are described as human beings, as if it were a human. For example, who hath not seen thee off amid thy store? The wind howled in the night. Justice is blind. The stars winked. The city never sleeps. So in these examples, you see that the inanimate objects or the abstract objects, the abstract ideas, they are attributed human qualities. Justice is an abstract thought, it's an abstract thing, but it is given a human quality blindness. The city never sleeps. The city is an inanimate object or it's the name of place, but it is given human quality, human characteristics of sleeping. So when inanimate objects or animals they are attributed human characteristics, we have personification. Next figure of speech is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of initial consonant sounds used especially in poetry to link and emphasize words as well as to create musical sounds. The wild wind blew, the brown snail slid. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone. So these two are the examples of alliteration. In this line, students, then can I grieve at grievances foregone? G sound is alliterative. So alliteration is a repetition of the same consonant sounds at the beginning of words that are in close proximity to each other. Alliteration is dependent on the beginning sound, not the beginning letter. So this thing you have to keep in mind. For example, cat is not alliterative with choice. So alliteration is the repetition of same consonant sounds at the beginning of words. Now, the next figure of speech that we have is onomatopoeia. It's a use of words that imitate sounds. Some examples are hiss, buzz, swiss, crunch. Next figure of speech is consonance. Consonance is repetition of consonant sounds. For example, has sight of Proteus rising from the sea. Here the sound S is repeated. Next is assonance. Assonance is repetition of vowel sounds. So when vowel sound is repeated, we have assonance. For example, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. This line repeats the sound O. Next figure of speech is hyperbole. In hyperbole, statement is made emphatic by overstatement. It uses extreme exaggeration to make a point or show emphasis. It is the opposite of understatement. For example, it was so cold, even the polar bears were wearing jackets. All the perfumes of Arabia cannot sweeten this little hand. So these two examples, they are exaggerating the things. Next figure of speech is oxymoron. It's a special form of antithesis whereby two contradictory qualities are predicted at once of the same thing. So here, when the two opposite ideas are joined to create an effect, the common oxymoron phrase is a combination of an adjective preceded by a noun with contrasting meaning. For example, cruel kindness and living death. The next two examples that we can have are she accepted it as the kind of cruelty of the surgeon's knife. So innocent arch, so cunningly simple. So the words here, kind cruelty of surgeon's knife. So these are two contradictory words. Innocent arch, cunningly simple. So again, the two contradictory qualities, they are predicted at once of the same thing. Next figure of speech that we have is irony. Irony is a mode of speech in which the real meaning is exactly opposite of that which is literally conveyed. It involves a situation in which actions have an effect that is opposite from what was intended, so that the outcome is contrary to what was expected. It's a figure of speech in which words are used in such a way that their intended meaning is different from the actual meaning of the words. So, in simple words, it's a difference between appearance and reality. We have three types of irony: verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. Verbal irony, it involves what one does not mean. For example, when in a response to a foolish idea we say, "What a great idea." So it's a example of verbal irony because we does not mean what we say. Situational irony occurs when, for instance, a man is chuckling at the misfortune of another, but the same misfortune is unknowingly befalling on him. So it's an example of situational irony. Dramatic irony happens in a drama. Just as in Romeo and Juliet, the audience knows that Juliet is only asleep, not dead, but Romeo does not, and he kills himself. So irony involves a situation in which actions have an effect that is opposite from what was intended. Next figure of speech we have is elegy. Elegy is a form of literature that can be defined as a poem or song in the form of elegiac couplets written in honor of someone deceased. It typically laments or mourns the death of the individual. Examples of elegy from literature: elegy written in country churchyard in memory of W.B. Yeats. It's a form of poetry in which the poet or speaker expresses grief, sadness, or loss. It laments the death of a public personage or of a friend or a loved one. It can be an extension on any reflective lyric on the broader theme of human mortality. So, dear students, today we have learnt some literary devices that you will find in your poetry. Thank you.